morning. She's
Just like down.
Now.
It's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
You've had about, 22-ish hours to digest, to learn, to hear. And this morning you will get to meet your new Lobo men's basketball coach, Richard Pitino. Good morning to you and Merry Wednesday. Snowy. How much snow did you get on the west side? Because I've got 4 inches of snow in the backyard, and I had no idea that was coming.
We got a flurry for about 5 minutes, and then it was all gone.
So it's gone. No, I got to go sweep the shovel the driveway, and I mean it's. Now I know it's going to be warm. That's crazy. That came out of nowhere. I mean, you hire a coach from Minnesota, and all of a sudden the snow comes with it. Is that what's going on here? Is that how that is? We'll ask Richard about that. What's up, man? You good?
Good. Ready to go?
Lot happened yesterday. Obviously, with the naming of Richard Pitino yesterday, it came out about 10 after 9 yesterday. Eddie Nunez was with us at 9:30. You heard him yesterday. He had a press conference, and then Richard Pitino is coming to town today and hold a meet and greet and a press conference tomorrow. Richard Pitino due to be with us this morning at 8 o'clock, the new Lobo men's basketball coach, so you'll get to meet him. JJ, listening to everything, look, I get it. Because and Eddie gets it too. There's going to be nobody outside of, I don't know. I mean, who's John Wooden these days? Is it Krzyzewski? Like who would have been the one where Lobo fan would have been unanimous on? That doesn't exist. And so Eddie was charged, and he went out and did his due diligence. And you said this a number of times. Time will tell. I like the hire. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you success. I think it gives you a good opportunity. There's similarities to others, both things that worked out well and things that didn't. I understand that. And I said earlier, and I said it during the football search, everybody's got a guy, and hopefully that when it's all said and done and settled, and you've got a guy in here, that you'll give that guy a chance if in fact you're about the program. I know people come in, if you don't hire my guy, then I'm done. All right. But hopefully, if you love the program, then you'll give it a chance to see what happens. All accounts on Richard Pitino. Like it's hard to find someone who come out and said, "Man, he's a jerk," or "I didn't like him," or "He's a crappy coach." It didn't work at Minnesota after 7-8 years there, but by every account, he's a personable guy, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting and fun for Lobo fans over the next few months leading up to when they get back on the basketball court, learning about Richard Pitino, seeing what style of basketball he's going to play, what his staff is going to look like. I'm liking what I'm hearing so far, especially when it comes to how Richard Pitino tried to create his own path. Like, yeah, his dad is a big reason of why he has these opportunities. But 8 years at Minnesota, he learned a whole lot about basketball. And he mentioned being in that league with Tom Izzo, John Beilein, Thad Matta, guys like that he had to go up against, day in and day out, not just in recruiting, but in the conference. And a big thing to this, and Eddie talks about it a lot too, is, all right, how are you going to translate what you learned to New Mexico? How are you going to take those experiences and become a better coach and ultimately a better person as he grows, and he's still only 38 years old, and now put that to the Lobos and instill that in this program and improve this product and improve yourself as a coach. And I think it's going to be really interesting to hear from him later this morning, but then also throughout this process, because that's a heck of a learning experience. Playing in absolutely, not just this year, but year in and year out, one of the best basketball conferences there is.
Yeah, though there's a lot to be taken out of it. And coming out of what he did at SEC and with Billy Donovan and going to Final Fours, and certainly from his dad, like the pedigree's there. And again, every account says he's bright, he's adaptable, and so if you start going back and you go to this that Eddie talks about, and it's one of the things that resonates with me with Eddie too. Who are your mentors? From where did you learn? Where will you go for advice? What will you lean back on when things go wrong and you need some direction. And you start saying, all right, Rick Pitino, well, not as successful as there's been. Billy Donovan, really, really, really successful. And you start going back, and then, okay, what did you learn? And I think part of it is him owning up at Minnesota. We'll talk to him a little bit about, what happened and why didn't it work to the level that you were hoping it worked and expecting it to work. And it is different here. And look, I've got people pro and con, whether it's on the Twitter, whether it's on text, whether it's in conversation. And I got it, man. I get it. Some people are telling me it feels like the Fraschilla hire. And I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's because it's a short Italian guy that it feels like Fraschilla, from like he grew up in Kentucky and cut his teeth in Louisville and in Florida and in Minnesota. Like, this isn't a guy coming straight out of New York City like Fran was. And Fran Fran came in and was going to run things East Coast like he did at Manhattan and St. John's, and it didn't work. And he recruited a whole lot of East Coast players. We'll see what Richard does. To me, and I said this, and look, this isn't exact, but I said it, and I told you this last week, and I heard this comparison. Grammer used it a lot yesterday. It felt more Alford to Fraschilla, right? I said this to you last Friday, I think, where a guy who's coming out of the Big Ten, who had some success but not a lot, not steady enough, and coming here after being unwelcomed, I guess, at the stop there. But I get the Fraschilla stuff to an extent. To me, it feels more Alford. I'm not telling you he is Alford. Please don't mistake me. But it feels more Alford than Fraschilla to me.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of Fran Fraschilla vibes off of this hire. If you're just looking at coach with Big Ten experience, with, as you said, some success, it's more Alford-esque. But this is one that I do think it is really intriguing, because there is a, as with any hire, but especially this one, a wide variety of opinions, because I think there's some people that just look at his, say, Big Ten conference record and will use that as, well, why this guy can't be any good? How is he going to come into New Mexico and be good? Look what he did in the Big Ten. But I think there's so many more factors, as we've discussed and we'll continue to discuss throughout this process, about who he is as a coach, what his staff is going to look like. And that is another thing, too, that I appreciate what Eddie Nunez and his approach. He's like, I don't care what style of basketball play, as long as you build a successful program that's good for the student athletes. And he's going to have final say on his coaching staff. And I think that both those things probably resonate with coaches, because the last thing you want, and even Eddie being a basketball guy, is him already having these things like, oh, you got to come in here and play this way, or you got to come in here, and these have to be the guys around you. No, this is going to be on Richard Pitino. It's going to be his final decisions to make this program what they're expecting it to be.
Yeah, I want to go back to the record, because I don't want to dismiss it, but I don't want to put all the eggs in a cart. And so the record, he was 141 and 123 overall in Big Ten games, 54-96, and I get it. And I have said numbers don't lie, and it's right, numbers don't lie. And I've also said numbers don't tell the entire story. So we got that email. There's the one emailer, John, who doesn't like the hire, and numbers don't lie. You're right. No, they don't. Was it Bill Parcells? You are what you are. You are what your record says you are. But does it tell the whole story? And that's where I think you're going to have to, as a Lobo fan, let this thing play out and have a little faith and a little hope in this thing. Because you've had guys who I think are good coaches. And again, I go back to, the easiest one is Belichick when he was with Cleveland. Was he a bad coach? Or did the numbers lie? What was the situation? Who did he have? You got to go back and look at it. That was what Eddie and Dave's job was here. And so I think, I trust them in the process on this. And I'll tell you, look, there's no exact science. I still get emails. People are pissed off at Rudy Davalos for hiring Richie McKay, right? And I still get the emails all the time. There's no exact science. Rudy did his due diligence back in his day, just like Eddie did his today. And I don't know if you've ever hired anybody. I have. It's certainly lower profile than what's going on here. And so if I make a bad hire it affects me and my business, and I don't have the rest of the community looking in and telling me what an idiot I am, right? That's the difference between that and the pressure of global basketball. But it is such an inexact science, and I don't want to dismiss the numbers, but I don't want to rely solely on the numbers. Is that fair?
Yeah, I do think that's fair, especially when you look at a lot of these situations. This is an opportunity for Richard Pitino to kind of reignite his coaching career, but then you're also going at a guy that you believe is a good coach that learned a lot over those 8 years at Minnesota, and now bring it to a program that has high expectations. He's talked about it plenty, the frenzy that is Lobo basketball. He's looking forward to that, and that is what makes this job attractive, is that people care about it, and you're going to get the questions, you're going to feel the pressure, but that's what competitors want. And it does sound like Richard Pitino, not just, hey, this is a job that I'm only unemployed for like 12 hours. It's
Right.
He wants that basketball atmosphere. He wants that pip pop, and he wants to be a part of a community like this.
Well, and he's going to get it. And so if you want to go back to background, I don't know if Fran was ever part of that, to be honest with you, if you're looking for your comparisons. Steve Alford grew up in crazy, Basketballville in Indiana. Richard Pitino grew up in crazy Basketballville in Kentucky. And so if you're looking for someone, people say, well, he's not from here, he doesn't get it. All right. A lot of people aren't from here that have been successful, but he gets crazy Basketballville. Right? Does it get any crazier in Kentucky? I mean, as crazy as you think you are around here, they're pretty nuts about their basketball where he grew up in Lexington. He kind of, so he'll get that, he'll embrace it. I don't think he'll run from it. So, look, there's a lot of ways to talk through it, and we're here for you to do that at 505-246-0610. Your emails will come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the Twitter, JJ has been very active and a great follow at _JJ Buck. On the Facebook, you can watch the show, The OD in the AM. Alden's producing on the ProView Network side, so you can watch the broadcast. Micah's got us on the radio. We're going to get into the NFL stuff quite a bit today. We got more openings now, and the Minnesota opening affects the Mountain West, at least potentially, and the Iowa State job affects the Mountain West. The Mountain West going to look different with some of the premier names having some new coaches, and it's not settled yet. So we got all that to do. Want to hear from you on the opening drive on 95. And Richard Pitino at 8 o'clock on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Animal. All right, so now what? What happens around the league? Richard Pitino's going to be the coach at New Mexico. He'll be with us at 8 o'clock this morning. Who's going to be the coach at UNLV? The coaches at San Diego State and Boise State and Utah State and Colorado State are all being rumored for other jobs at Minnesota. And TJ Otzelberger is going to Iowa State. It's interesting, huh? Oh, this league's not very good, Jeff. Oh, they're one big league. They're two big. Okay, but all their coaches sure seem to be up for a lot of jobs. Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Start with UNLV, JJ. TJ Otzelberger, after 2 seasons and not a lot of success at UNLV, but certainly success at South Dakota State. He's going home. His wife was a player at Iowa State. He's from there. By every report, he's the guy that's going to Iowa State. Did you see the payouts? Iowa State's paying prom like 5 point something to leave, and they got to pay a 4 point something buyout. So it's about between $9 and $10 million in buyout money between buying out their old coach and buying Otzelberger out of his contract at UNLV. So UNLV is going to get a chunk of money to go after whoever it is that they want. But they're before they even start paying their new coach, they're in about $10 million in payouts.
Yeah, that's power conference athletic departments for you. We just saw what happened with Archie Miller in Indiana, $10 million buyout. By the way, I saw the Brian Harston deal at Auburn. So they wrapped it up, and someone calculated that between the payouts for the coaches that left the staff, Brian Harston, his new coaches, they've spent $72 million. Just that
is
time.
Is that in that time, or is that going to be like what Harston's salary is, or they've already spent that?
Yeah, like paying out all the coaches, and then of course some salary moving forward. But that's collegiate athletics, man. Big business at unbelievable levels. And here's the thing with UNLV: they're celebrating this. They were already done with TJ Otzelberger after 2 years, so they're looking at this as a win for them. They're saying good riddance, have fun at Iowa State. And now we're starting to see a lot more jobs open. Utah just opened, yeah. With Minnesota, these Indiana, these other Big Ten jobs. And
all right,
it's going to be really interesting then to see how the Mountain West teams handle it if there is more that jump out of the conference.
Where does UNLV go? So Desiree, the athletic director there, is the same athletic director who hired Otzelberger, and she went and got a up-and-comer from South Dakota State. 2 years. Steve Lavin wants that job. Reggie Theus has wanted that job for, for 20 years, probably north of 20 years. There's going to be, she's going to be in a lot. What somebody said to me yesterday, and I think it was you, right? When you said UNLV is New Mexico, right? Their fan base, like they should have the top guy. I don't know. They're going to be like this. Like everybody's going to have their guy and be convicted about their guy. My gut tells me that's her pattern. She's going to find another TJ Otzelberger type of a coach, right? Wouldn't that be kind of like Keller down at Kyle Keller that was up for this job? I think down at Stephen F. Austin would be somebody that they would look at there, right? Wouldn't that feel more of the style to you?
Well, not necessarily, because
now she's got a lot of money.
Well, they got a little bit of money, and it's UNM 2.0. Who did they just hire as their football coach? An alum that was an assistant coach from a Pac-12 school.
Yeah. So,
Marcus Arroyo.
Yeah.
And then now you're going here, and I think they could potentially be looking at a power conference coach that had some time, might be out of a job, looking for that next opportunity.
What if something happens with Frank Martin? Right? And then there's the Minnesota job where you've got Brian Dutcher at San Diego State, Craig Smith at Utah State, Leon Rice, who, if you recall, Mark Coyle, who's the athletic director at Minnesota, was the athletic director at Boise State before he took that job. So there's that relationship with Leon Rice. So I know Aztec fans are going, yeah, Leon Rice would be great. Oh, don't take Craig Smith. He'd be great. I think Aztec fans worried. Of all those, wouldn't you think Dutcher would be the front runner? His dad coached there. He's from there. He's had the most success in this league sustained.
Yes.
Okay.
I would put him on top of that list.
Yeah. Yep. Now, does he go? And it's really this is one of those where um, it's not as much of a no-brainer as you think. A young coach probably goes. Brian's 60 years old. He's making what 1.1 million. He'd probably double that, right? If it more than double that there. And he could go sign a 5-year deal and go coach till he's 65 or more if he wants, and then come back to San Diego and retire. I mean, he loves it there, and who doesn't love it there? Or he can get paid a little bit in sunshine, probably get a little bit of a raise out of San Diego State, and continue what he's got. Like, what's you define better now. We had this conversation yesterday about Arkansas and Minnesota. What's a better job? Because Eric Musselman's name is in this. You define better. Is a better job the one that pays more in a bigger league? You got a better chance to go to the NCAA tournament every year at San Diego State than you do at Minnesota. Don't you think?
You do, but it's also one that when you're in a power conference, you don't necessarily have to have the greatest
That's right.
year to get in either. But
That's absolute.
It's also just a bigger hill to climb in terms of competing for conference championships.
Do you want to make a lot more money? I think everybody loves making money. Do you want to go home? There's something special about going home. Do you want to go freeze or you want to live in San Diego? Well, there's that. What is your family like? I think that's going to be a big part of it. What does your wife want to do? And then I'm gonna lean a little bit, and this word is I don't know the answer. How much tie/responsibility do you think Brian Dutcher feels at San Diego State? Meaning Steve Fisher is still there in San Diego. Steve Fisher built it. He was on Steve Fisher's staff for all those years at Michigan and then in San Diego. He was the coach in waiting. They held the job for him. They paid him handsomely as an assistant. And now 4 years into it, does he have the responsibility in his mind to see it out? A, for Coach Fisher in some respects, for Steve Fisher, and B, for that fan base to not jump and turn it over to somebody now outside of that immediate family. And you're shaking your head saying, hell no, go get paid. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily just go get paid. The dude put his time in with Steve Fisher.
He did.
Like, how long was he Steve Fisher's assistant? Yeah, he finally did get the job. But that's the last thing I look at is like Brian Dutcher owing anyone anything. The amount of time that he spent with Steve Fisher and at San Diego State.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder what would you do? Would you if you're in his shoes? Would you take if it's offered?
Like, what level of connection is actually there for Brian in Minnesota? And that's what it's going to ultimately come down to. If there is something special about that place, then I wouldn't fault someone for wanting to go to a place that really means a lot to them. Or is it just, has that run its course? Like, that was the time back when in his life, but now he is solidified in San Diego.
Yeah, there's got to be something to it. And like for Richard Pitino, I mean, I'm sure there's a special spot in his heart for Kentucky when he was growing up and his dad was the coach there, right? For Brian, his dad won a league championship, I believe, at Minnesota. He's got a lot of family there. There's got to be something to draw you there. There's a lot of snow there, something you don't have in San Diego. But with all that money, you could probably buy a few parkas and a snowblower, I'm going to guess.
You can get heated floors.
Yeah.
Nice insulated garage.
Probably all of that stuff. And if not, you can have a remodel and get all that. It's going to be interesting. And is he their guy? Is it Leon Rice? Is it Craig Smith? Is it Nico Medved? Is it Tim Miles is on that list? Eric Musselman's being mentioned. There's a lot of names up for that Minnesota job, and I think a lot of people like that job. Hey, to your point, it's in a really good conference. It pays well. It's in a recruiting hotbed. Everybody thinks they can go in and do better than the last guy, and that's how you should think. And you learn from what happened. That one's going to be really interesting to watch. What about Utah? Because I think that's going to very potentially affect somebody out in this part of the country too.
Yeah, and is Utah sitting there looking at Craig Smith and how would he fit into that? Because we just saw BYU go Utah Valley with Mark Pope, and so I think Craig Smith definitely would be in consideration at Utah, and then the Mountain West, going through the shuffle. But we know that's what happens if you do good in this league, you're going to get an opportunity.
Yeah, all right. I forgot that you told me that we had someone on the phone. Wayne, you're on the Quan's Auto Care hotline, so you didn't get your guy, Wayne. How you living? What's
Hello.
happening? Hello.
Oh, I'm doing good. Good morning, Lobo fans. I see this. I've been really trying to process it like everybody else, and I do have my season tickets for next year. I see this as a good hire, and I see him as a winner. I was ready to hate the new hire, but I don't. I'm actually very optimistic. I think he comes with a drop of controversy, but we knew we would get that, so there's no real surprise there. But I would say that I can't wait till we get the honest disclosure of what he actually is going to cost. And I hope that, so far we're getting accurate stuff that he's going to start for the first few years at about the level where Weir was at. And I think if that's true, that's a great thing. But if it comes out that we had to mortgage the farm to bring him here, then that would definitely bum me out.
What does mortgage the farm mean to you?
Well, I think that if it was 850, 900 million for the first year or two, with possibly a great big clause in his contract for a golden parachute if we had to separate after 2 or 3 or 4 years where we owed him over $1 million, that would be, those are 2 clear examples of mortgaging the farm to bring him here.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, probably get set to be close to disappointed. I think it's going to. This is. I don't know. I think it's going to be in the area of what Paul made the first 2 years, and there's going to be a buyout that if you terminate the contract, that there's a contract that UNM would owe him money, just as if he leaves, like UNLV just got paid. If somebody comes and takes your coach because he's having success, they'll have to buy him out and pay you money to terminate that contract early. But I be prepared then to be disappointed, I think.
And I won't be. I understand that that's where the market is at, and that's the way things work. But I still hope that we were able to negotiate something that's not going to be painful for the school if we have to go through it.
Yeah. All right, Wayne. No, it's good to hear you, and I appreciate it. And it's nice. I'm glad you're able to look at it in through lenses that you're willing to accept it and give it a chance. So thanks for the call, and don't be a stranger. Wayne called us at 246-0610. James, stay there because we're going to get you. So that surprised me a little. He says, I was ready to hate the new coach, but I don't. I don't hate the hire.
I don't know what he means about controversy, but I think there's some people that say, all right, let's give this a try. Let's see how this goes.
Yep. All right, we're going to go back to the phones. Richard Patino due to be with us coming up at the top of the hour. I want to tell you about Coleman Vision. I had an astigmatism. Didn't know what it was. I just knew that there was something wrong with my eyes. I couldn't, I was wearing glasses and lenses. I've been wearing them since I was basically in high school, and I didn't know what was going on. And so I went and saw Dr. Stephen Coleman at Coleman Vision, and Dr. Coleman changed my life. I had LASIK in 2003. Had it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, anchored the news at 5 o'clock the next morning, and have seen incredibly well ever since. It's unbelievable what the technology can do. And at Coleman Vision, Dr. Coleman is in on the technology. It's cutting edge, and he plays a significant role in testing and developing the technology that is used around the country. It's developed at Sandia Labs. Dr. Coleman's right in the middle of it, and that's why for years people have come from all over the country to have their LASIK done at Coleman Vision because they know his reputation, the fact that he's been in private practice, specializing in LASIK for his entire career. The Colemans have become family to me. I love them. I love what they do, and I love that they changed my life as far as I don't wear lenses and contacts and all of that. If you think you're a candidate for LASIK, call Dr. Coleman. Go to their website, see what they can do, and then give them a call. And if you're a candidate, I strongly suggest you take advantage of this technology. It's amazing what it did for me and athletes and people and lawyers and doctors and housewives and just regular you and me people. 505-821-8880 is the number. 821-8880, or visit them at colemanvision.com.
Going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos drives and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Richard Pitino due to be with us at 8 o'clock this morning, the new Lobo coach. You want to talk about it, let's go to you at 505-246-0610. Brewer and James, you're up. Good morning, James. How you living? Hello, James. What's up, James?
State coach and him having a chance to go home, Minnesota or something.
All right, start over. Start over. Yeah, James, start over because we joined you late. Go ahead and tell me what you said.
Okay. You're talking about San Diego State coach?
Yeah, Brian Dutcher.
And he stay or go to Minnesota? Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you what. I remember Pete Carroll when he was at SC. Pete Carroll had the chance to become the king of LA. And meaning that means he could go anywhere to the IE, to the Valley, San Diego, wherever, and recruit and get the top players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, that being said, he left, and whatever happened, whatever, you know.
You won a Super Bowl.
I would, if it was up to me, I would stay in San Diego and become the king of San Diego instead of going to Minnesota and freezing. The reason I say that is because San Diego, you're going to get all the talent pool is there. You know, Kawhi Leonard from Riverside. And
but are you getting that talent?
I remember,
but see,
Sheckle.
here's the deal. You're never going to be Pete Carroll there because San Diego State, in playing in the Mountain West, is still never going to be, even in San Diego, and certainly in Southern California, what USC football was in Los Angeles.
Okay, all right, well, but, I mean, man, Minnesota, I mean, you're going to have to recruit pretty hard. I mean, you're going to have to, really bust your butt to get kids there. And you're going to get the Shekel kid. I've seen him play against the Ball brothers, and he's at San Diego State. So, I mean, you don't have. I understand the Mountain West and stuff like that, but man, I mean,
I got it.
I don't know. I'd stay.
All right, James.
I would.
No, I appreciate it. No, I would. Look, I would too. And JJ, maybe at some point you don't mess with Happy. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like he's in a good spot. Dan, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Dan. Good morning, Dan. All right, let's go to Francisco. Francisco, you're up next on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline.
Just dropped.
He just dropped, so I got neither Dan or Francisco. Is that what you're telling
me?
All right. And JJ, maybe is there something in regards to you don't mess with Happy? I don't know. That one's going to be interesting. San Diego State.
I think 99% of people are like, yeah, I'm taking San Diego, and I'm going to stay at the San Diego State job. But you don't know what that allure is of home, what that means to Brian Dutcher at this point in time, what connections he has back in Minnesota still, and those things will definitely factor in big. Because ultimately, I think most of us will all take a poll and we'll stay at San Diego and really just keep that thing rolling. You're still going to get quality recruits. You're still going to be in a lot of those battles, and you don't have to run from anything. Pete Carroll, by the way, didn't leave necessarily just because, this is an NFL job. There was a lot of stuff going down around that USC program when he got
out in front of the posse.
So he got out while the getting was good, not necessarily just jumping in the NFL to jump.
All right, Ken, he got out in front of the posse for sure. Ken, good morning. How you living? You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. So I just turned on the radio, and I'm assuming you guys are talking about the new hire and everything. My take on it, my opinion is I think it's an absolutely brilliant hire. And I know Lobo fans in the sports speak out this morning. Some were unhappy. I don't know what this whole thing about local and getting, somebody that we all know and, that type of thing. I don't see people locally that are qualified for that job yet. Maybe that's coming up, maybe through the high school ranks or something, but I just think it's a little ridiculous. But anyways, I think Lobo fans, we kind of are hard on ourselves. Sometimes we say our heads are in the clouds. We expect so much. We really haven't been anywhere. We don't have any tradition. But do you realize that is one of the biggest reasons why we got Richard Pitino is because of the fans.
That's correct.
And that's one of the big reasons why we got Steve Alford is because of the fans and the pit. It's not because of our tradition. It's not because we've done anything great in the past. But just do not discount the power of the rabid fan base in this community because it is drawing national attention. It gets national attention. I mean, what did it say in the paper this morning when that guy wrote the commentary, and he's from the Star Tribune, I believe that's in Minneapolis. He's saying that the fan base is like Minnesota times 100. Mm-hmm. The passion of the Lobos.
Yeah, I think
like the Gophers times 100.
Ken, there's something to that. When you get a guy like Alford and who said very much the same thing when he came here, and he's a basketball through and through guy, and obviously from the Pitino family coming up, there's something to be said about that, and it still carries that moniker, that tradition, that reputation, and I think that's a big part in this. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think the fan base needs to change. I think we are crazy sometimes. I mean, we make the craziest calls. I've made crazy calls. We've all been crazy. But that's the allure of this place is that we're crazy in love with our Lobos. And, when we're not happy, we say crazy things. We do crazy things. It's because we care and we love this program and we want it to go to the top. That doesn't mean it's going to go to the top, but we sure do want to go to the top. And that is national. People know that nationally. So my advice to Lobo fans, don't change. Just be yourself. Call this radio station. Just spill your heart, spill your guts out. Even like Rudy C. Don't change Rudy C. Nobody change what they're doing because it is getting noticed, and it has been noticed for years and years and years. So that's
Good
all I
stuff.
got, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate that. It's interesting, right? Because as much as people sat here, and I'm not going to tell you this was the majority, JJ. Well, who's going to want this job? And the fan base is withering away, and all that. The reputation that this place still has as a great basketball job community program, it goes far outside of this community.
Yeah, and that's a positive. And to Ken's point, I think at times, sure, we can all, with whatever we're talking about, get carried away. But Lobo basketball fans care. This program matters. It resonates throughout the collegiate basketball world. Other coaches notice. And yes, the building at times might be more famous than the team, but what that does give you, it gives you an opportunity to put a famous team in that building. And it's a job that coaches want to come to. They know the kind of support, the success that you can have if you are able to check all the right boxes. So I agree with Ken. I do think it's an absolute positive that you have this fan base, this passion, and things do go through cycles. And you always got to be thinking, all right, how are we getting the students more involved? How are you getting the younger ones involved? Well, if you have a kid, you're taking him to the game. And hopefully he's a basketball fan, he's a fan of sport, and that tradition will continue.
All right, David, stay there. We're going to get to you when we get back. Richard Pitino due to be with us at the top of the hour, the new Lobo men's basketball coach. I want to tell you something, a little bit of truth before we go to break, because, fellas, as men age, there's things like hair loss and low T and even ED that are natural, and there's a good chance that it happens to you. There's also a good way to fight nature, and that's with New Male. Fellas, New Male is real. If you're carrying a few extra pounds, maybe you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, you're tired all the time, there's a way that you can deal with that and feel like you again. New Male leads the way in helping men deal with these issues. They have for years. Their testosterone replacement utilizes the cutting-edge technology. Men all over the country have benefited from it, and they feel better. Call New Male 505-652-1688. That's 505-652-1688. Or go to numale.com. Fellas, New Male is real. The results are absolute. And for the process is easy, from the phone call all the way through the treatment. Don't put it off. Take care of you. Visit newmail.com or call 505-652-1688 and feel better.
Oh, let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Heavyweights high in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh!
Ho, ho, ho. Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Domino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi, lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
All right, let's get to the phones and get as money in as we can before Richard Pitino's due to join us at 8 o'clock. 246-0610 is how to get here. 888-922-0610. Alden going woof, woof, woof. That's right. I'm sure that the Pitino kids will learn that pretty quick, too. I saw Richard tweeted out yesterday. He was on a radio station in Minnesota and said his youngest son, Jack, he's got to get him to stop saying, Daddy's the coach at Mexico. New Mexico. Well, I guess Mexico's better than New Mexico State for Lobo fans, right?
It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. David, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's up, David?
A couple of things. The fans are rabid here, and that's a good thing. It's also a bad thing. I think the fans here have too high of an expectation. I think the administration has too low of an expectation. Where they meet in the middle is if they get public appearance ratings, NCAA appearances, then it's all good. And the Villanova losses both by Bliss and Alford come to mind. If either one of those coaches won those games, which I think would have been just by luck or accidental, because both games, neither Bliss's or Alford's teams were playing well enough to beat Villanova, they would have advanced to the Sweet 16. I think that should be the expectation. But that said, the fans are irrelevant when it comes to play. Coaches are responsible for development, recruiting, transfers. I think UNM, if they do coaching well, if they do recruiting well, they're fine. In fact, I would wonder how four coaches compare. Franchilla, X's and O's, to McKay, and Bliss to Alford, because people said Alford was winning with McKay's players. It's just Alford could play on the road and win on the road where McKay couldn't.
I think Steve proved he could win with his own players. But he did it for 8 years, so they weren't all Richie's players.
Right, eventually, because he was there. But even eventually, Alford was of the opinion, and this is kind of my point. Alford split the season into 4 subseasons.
Right.
Non-conference, conference, ultimately
conference tournament, and then postseason,
and NCAA tournament. Whenever he lost the NCAA tournament, he would then say, well, the season shouldn't be judged by one game. And I'm like, Steve, which one game are you talking about? Because the season that everybody expects you to advance into and play into, you're not doing that well. Meaning people are running around and putting opponents of Alfred's teams are saying they're overrated. And the kicker is, Alfred had a chip on his shoulder that if you didn't respect his team like he thought you should, then he was mean against you.
Yeah, there's something to that. David, thank you. The chip on the shoulder was something that Lobo fans loved. You're right. Like, no Lobo coach in the modern era has taken you deep into the NCAA tournament. Dave Bliss had the most success. He won one game of the tournament 4 straight years. I would argue that's the best run. Okay, Alford cut down nets. But so what do you want? Like what makes you happy? What makes you satisfied?
It was Richie McKay's team that played Villanova. Alford never played Villanova in any of his postseason appearances as head coach at UNM.
Play Harvard. He did play Harvard.
Played Harvard. But I think there's a difference between a coach saying, well, not to be upset. Of course you're going to be upset when you lose the NCAA tournament. But one of my big things is don't take that for granted. Like, yeah, you want to push beyond that, but getting to the NCAA tournament on a consistent basis gives you that opportunity. Because how has it been the last 7 years?
Yeah, it's been, well, I'll read you the RPIs here and Ken Palm ratings if you want. Dave, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Dave.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my folks had season tickets to the Lobos back when Ellenberger was in town, and man, I'm just a passionate fan. And this hire, I don't think I could come up with a better hire unless you're going to try to fork out all kinds of money. But you look at Richard Pitino; he's excited. He's ready to come here. A lot of the fans are excited, and he starts putting up some W's and brings in some big, some good players that can contribute. And we, all we have to do is compete. And that's what Richard wants to do, and that's what we want. And we want a competitive team, and we'll see how it goes.
Yep, no, that's good stuff. Thanks, JJ. I think he's going to be a lot more like Danny Gonzalez in regards to being in the community, which I think is going to go a long way. At 38, young, energetic, by every account, quick-witted, personable, smart, funny. All that's great, but to Dave's point, go out and win games, right? I mean, and how much leeway are you going to give this young man, right? This team was 11th in their league this last year. How much, what do you expect? I know Eddie was asked on the call that yesterday. What are you expecting out of this young man? Somebody asked me about success, and I ran across this on the tweeter. And so I'm well aware, JJ, that Ken Palm ratings are not everything, but it gives you, it's a metric, and it gives you some perspective. So Richard Pitino's teams at Minnesota, starting in this past season of working backwards, were ranked 58th in Ken Palm, 27, 46, 117, 37, 192, 52, and 46. So regularly hovering around that 40 to 50 area, right? In that time, New Mexico was 289, 138, 188, 106, 119, 115, 137, and 33. So the only year they broke 100 was that first year. All it tells you is his teams were consistent. They were good. They didn't win enough, but I think you're going to get a competitive team. Richard Pitino due to be with us when we come back. He's the new head coach at UNM. Looking forward to having a conversation with him next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a...
Option again. He'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Portel.
The outside of running an out route. Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. Got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the wind in his back, but.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is The Opening Drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Buck.
Well, I'm going to call it coincidence, but the weather guys told me last night it hasn't snowed in Albuquerque in March since 2012. Well, there's snow outside. Maybe not a ton. It's absolute coincidence, right? The Lobos hired a coach who's coming from Minnesota, and that's not a precursor. What's up? It's The Opening Drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. A lot of excitement in this town. It's a hoops town, and it revolves around Lobo basketball. And yesterday, Lobo basketball made it official. The new head coach at the University of New Mexico is Richard Pitino. On his way to well, hopefully, I think by the time he lands, I think it's all going to be melted. Richard Pitino joins us on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Richard, you're on with Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. Congratulations, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have been blamed by multiple people about the snow. It's not my fault. I actually laugh because Eddie calls me last night. He FaceTimes me and says it's snowing here, and I showed him our snow, which these people
real.
consider a dusting, and it's about 3 inches of snow. So
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
No, it's good. Hey, congratulations on this. I know the process was relatively quick. And I saw where your youngest child, your son Jack, thinks you're going to Mexico. He knows you don't need a passport. We accept American currency and speak mostly English around here, and it's still part of the United States, right? He knows that.
Yeah, well, it was funny because, there was just so much emotion through the process because, I could certainly tell that, the end was near in Minnesota. And then there was this opportunity at New Mexico that I was really excited about. And he was sitting around the kitchen, and I had a little pamphlet from New Mexico that they had given me, and he can kind of read, and he's like, "Wait, you're going to be the coach of Mexico?" I said, "No, New Mexico." So he's excited. You know, it's really cool with young kids who love basketball. You know, they're just explaining to them, because I grew up in an environment very, very similar in Lexington, Kentucky, in a place that cares deeply about college basketball. So I know we'll have a lot of fun being a part of it.
Yeah, and I think Lobo fans are okay with calling it Mexico, just not New Mexico State. And I think he'll learn that quickly. Hey, Richard, why was this job so enticing to you? I've read some stuff where you talk so highly about this place and this job. Why was this something you wanted and you took and relatively quickly, and you said this is something that you went after?
You know, I really wanted to be at a place where you could win championships, and I truly believe you can do that in New Mexico. You know, if you really take a step back and you look at, especially the West Coast, and you say, what is similar to New Mexico? And there's not a lot. You know, obviously in the Midwest, the East Coast, there's a lot of similar things. So we're unique. And when you are unique and you have a fan base that deeply cares, and you have a home court that's maybe one of the best in the country, you have an opportunity to win. And you have an opportunity to sell something that's special. So when I got the call about it, you know, it's just, it's exactly what I've always wanted. I mean, Minnesota certainly has been a great place to live for 8 years, but there's a lot of different things to do. You got the Vikings, you got the Twins, you got the Timberwolves, the Wilds. Well, you know, in New Mexico, it's going to be all about Lobo basketball. And when you have that fan interest and you have people pulling in everybody pulling in the same direction, you could do special things. So I'm going to New Mexico because I want to win a championship, and I want to win a championship badly, and I think we can do it.
Richard, I think it's a hard thing for all of us to look at our faults. And, you know, if I think about myself 8 years ago, I was an absolute mess trying to get into this industry. But the person I am now is much different. How would you classify the coach you are today versus when you took the Minnesota job?
Well, I think the one thing that you guys will learn about me is I'm extremely honest and extremely transparent, and I take full ownership. You know, if we play a game and we're out rebounded by 10, it's my fault because I'm not coaching it well enough. Or even like this year, we had 5 ranked wins. It was the most wins in school history, and then 2 of our starters get hurt, and we won 1 game after that. Well, you know what that means? That means we didn't have enough depth, and that's on me. So I learned so much. You know, I don't know if it's like I got to be better at this, I got to be better at that, because I look at every day and say I got to be better. But the beauty of coaching in the Big Ten for 8 years is you learn every game because you're playing against a Tom Izzo, you're playing against a Bo Ryan, a Thad Matta, a John Beilein, you know, Matt Painter. You're seeing such great programs. So I think I'm so much more prepared now. You know, I mean, I'm only 38 years old, but I've got 9 years of head coaching experience, 8 in the Big Ten. And this experience has been, you know, it's been hard, but it's made me so much stronger. It made me understand what's really, really important. And the biggest thing that I've learned is when I get down to New Mexico, which is hopefully today, the start of building a championship culture is the only thing that's important. And that's in your locker room, that's in the community, that's with your staff. And that's got to be every day. And you got to fight for that every day, just like you would everything else.
New Lobo men's basketball coach Richard Pitino is joining us on the opening drive. And Richard, I know it's a question you get asked all the time because I'm going to ask it again. But for you, you know, yeah, your dad is a big influence in your life, no doubt about it. Was it a challenge? Like, did you ever try too hard to be your own person, or how did you manage that situation? And then ultimately, too, when you made the decision to go coach for Billy Donovan, you know, what did that mean to your career?
Yeah, I would say it was a life-changing experience for me. I was an assistant coach for my father at Louisville, and we were the #1 overall seed my second year there in the NCAA tournament. We went to back-to-back Elite Eights. We won the Big East. We had 2 lottery picks. I had recruited a lot of guys who ended up going on to win the national championship 2 years later. And Billy had called my dad and said, you know, I need a young, hungry assistant coach. And my dad suggested me, and at first I was like, why would I do that? I mean, that makes no sense. And I stopped for a second and said, you know what? It's an opportunity for me to grow, get out of my comfort zone. And it was the greatest decision I ever made in my life because my dad is certainly a great mentor to me. Billy Donovan is also a great mentor to me. And what it taught me was you got to be yourself, you know, because Billy Donovan was a guy who worked for my dad and played for my dad. So I kind of assumed I was going to go to Florida and see the exact same thing. It's totally different. Billy coached the way, and he ran his program the way that it was comfortable for him. And that's what I have to do. And it gave me confidence. It got me out of my comfort zone and just taught me to just kind of explore my growth moving forward. So it was easily the best decision I ever made. Changed my life, made me a better person, made me a better husband, and most importantly, made me a better coach. And I don't think I would be here right now with you guys talking if I didn't make that move. So it's a good lesson about make decisions that are going to make you uncomfortable, but make you better.
He's Richard Pitino, the new Lobo men's basketball coach, with us on the opening drive. Richard, growing up with your name, and not just growing up, living your life with your name, I'm going to guess it's evolved, right? As you've tried to carve your own path, become your own man, and stepping away from your dad and going to coach with Billy, it was a step. But how has that evolved? Because I think people probably, when they heard your name for this job, probably thought it was your dad for a minute. Maybe some still do, for all I know. But as you carve your own way, I'm going to guess that's an ongoing process.
Well, not as much anymore. I still will, though, say, hey, it's Coach Pitino when I call recruits, just in case they may mistake me. But no, not as much anymore. You know, I mean, listen, with all humility, I mean, I've been a head coach in the Big Ten, which is a great conference, for 8 years. I've been a head coach for 9 years. I think I've kind of made my dent in this profession. I've had some great years. I've had some down years. I mean, I've sent guys to the NBA, so I've kind of forged my own path that maybe I might have fought a little bit younger. And, honestly, I don't really consume myself with those things. I'm humble, but I'm also very self-assured and confident, and I don't necessarily worry about the perception of people. Whenever I do meet people, it's always going to be that's Rick Pitino's son, and, there's always going to be a preconceived notion of when your father is famous and your father is a legendary coach. But I think the more they get to know me, they're going to see I'm just a normal guy, and I care deeply about being a great father. I care about being a great husband. I care about running a great program. I care about connecting people the right way. And I think, you hate to see a time end when you've been in a place for 8 years, but just the outpouring of support from Gopher fans has been very, very humbling because they've been so kind. And I think they see that, yes, I certainly, there's things I could do better at, and I'm dying to do better at New Mexico, but they see what type of person I am, and I think New Mexico is going to see that as well.
I think that outpouring has shown a lot about the person who Richard Pitino is, and we're looking forward to meeting you in person, getting to know you. Have you ever been to the pit? Have you thought about what it's going to be like walking down the ramp that first day, and hopefully we're through COVID, there's people in the pit, and it's just bouncing like the pit normally does. Have you ever been in the building and experienced it firsthand?
So I've been to the pit. I believe 2005, excuse me. Louisville was down 20 to West Virginia at halftime.
Yes.
And came back and wanted to go to the Final Four. So I was at that game. Unbelievable experience. I've got so many friends who've, been involved in great games there. Like I said before, I think the timing is so perfect for whoever was to get this job for a lot of reasons. Now, certainly they had a tough year, and COVID, obviously, I think all of us are dying to get back to normal lives. But you know what? It's on me to get people back in the stands, even just getting out of COVID and resuming their lives, and pack that building, and to have a fun style of play that people are going to love to watch, and they're going to fear going back in that building because there are not too many home courts in the country that are like the pit. And that is the greatest advantage that you can have in a program, is to have alignment in the community, in the state, and a bunch of people bought in to make it a hard place to play. So that's I'm so eager to get in there. I'm hopeful to get in there tonight and see it, show the family, and because it gives me chills, just thinking about it.
Richard, I think we're in a really interesting era of sport overall, especially when you can combine the analytics of what we're learning versus a lot of, this strategy. For you, how do you handle all that stuff when it comes just to analytics, maybe some of the traditional basketball sense that you put into what you want your team to do?
Yeah, I simplify it pretty good. I would say I'm definitely into analytics. The easiest shot in the game is a layup or a dunk. The next highest percentage shot is a free throw, and the next highest percentage shot would be a catch-and-shoot three. So what I really, really try to evaluate is, hey, where are we making shots, guys? And let's make sure the percentage of the shots that we're making are high versus like my team at Minnesota, much like New Mexico, was not a great shooting team, three-point shooting team. Well, we've got to be better at the percentage of our shots can't be coming from shots that we're not great at making. Defensively, we want to defend, we want to disrupt, but we have to do it without fouling. Fouling is death. Just like offensively, you've got to get their best players on the bench. So you've got to be aggressive offensively to make them foul you. Because you start getting their best players on the bench and you get to their bench, it changes the game. So very, very big offensively on getting to the free throw line. Very big on the three-point line, pushing the pace, especially in transition, and then defensively disrupting without fouling, and then you've got to dominate the glass. You've got to get extra possessions, offensive rebounding. You've got to finish every possession with a defensive rebound so that it can allow you to get out on the break. So I do like advanced analytics. I think it's another way to portray something to your team, but you have to evaluate what your team's strengths are and make sure that you are, putting your team in the right position offensively and defensively.
A few more minutes with Richard Pitino, the new Lobo men's basketball coach. Richard, it's an interesting league you're coming into, and it's a different region. And just your thoughts, A, on recruiting the region, and B, the league. You look at coaches like Steve Alford in this league and Brian Dutcher, and then I think there's 4 coaches in this league who I've heard their name tied to your former job at Minnesota. UNLV looks like they're going to have a new coach. I've heard your dad's name, although he said he's not going anywhere, tied to the UNLV job. So it's an interesting league that I think is coming off I don't think they're coming off a really good year. What's your perception of what's going on in this league and recruiting in this region?
Well, I think it's a phenomenal basketball league. I mean, there was times there where you could have gotten 4 teams in the NCAA tournament, with Boise State, Utah State, San Diego State, and Colorado State. They were all right there. And even if you get into the NIT, that means you're close. I think there's unbelievable locations, for schools. There's great tradition. You can sell a basketball conference. Certainly football is important too, but just a basketball conference that cares deeply about it. So I think it's very attractive to recruit to. As for the region part of it, it's very, very important that I get the right staff, not necessarily like from here or from there. Like, yes, that's important, but whoever I do hire, just making sure that all those guys understand what the mission is and what Gopher, or the guy said Gopher, I've been here for 8 years, Lobo basketball will be all about, and then spreading the word about what the plan is to the right people. I think it's very important to recruit Texas. It's very important to recruit California, obviously, Las Vegas, Colorado, Arizona. That area is, we have to live around there as well as if there's any players in the state. But it's very important that I get guys who understand what I want and then be able to pass that message along and just work their butts off. Because once the press conference goes away and once the radio shows and the newspaper articles and all that stuff goes away, the magic really is in the work. And it's getting in early, it's staying late, it's living on the phones, it's living in, making sure your players understand what you're all about and that you're there for them to make them better, and living in the community so that everybody knows what we're all about. So it just takes hard work, and everybody that I bring in here has to know we are going to work around the clock to get this thing turned around.
Richard, lastly for me, with Eddie Nunez in that conversation that you guys had over the weekend, it really does sound like you guys are, sparked a good relationship in terms of your philosophy. So as a head coach, when you come in, and Eddie, told us yesterday that he said, the staff's going to be up to you and the style of basketball it's all up to you as long as it's a successful program. So when you have that kind of freedom as a coach, but also the start of a good relationship, how important is that?
It's great. I mean, obviously there's a connection there with Eddie playing, for Coach Donovan, who is so important to me. But when you have guys, like David Williams and you have Eddie Nunez, basketball guys, like, I'm not going to, push them out of my program and say, leave me alone. Like, no, like I want them to be involved. Certainly it's going to be my program and it's going to be my decisions, and I'm excited about making those decisions. But if they see something that where we can get better, like, let's talk about it. Or if, they know people in the profession as well. And if they have a suggestion about something, certainly it's going to fall on me, and I'm totally cool with that. But, I want to work together with those guys. Like, you can't win a championship unless you're all pulling in the same direction. And so Eddie and I really hit it off great. I think he's absolutely a rising star in the profession. I just feel like we both believe in the same things. And, we want to flip this thing. We want to get it back to, winning the Mountain West and, getting back to packing the pit and getting back to, the whole state of New Mexico constantly talking about this basketball program in a positive light. So I think we're all like-minded, and I think we all believe in the same thing about the potential of this special place. And so but you got to work together, and I certainly want to do that.
And Richard, lastly for me, just in the immediate, and look, I don't think anybody's expecting going from last to first in 1 year. It's going to take a minute to turn this thing around. But in regards to the current roster, because fan bases like this are so, well, like all fans, they're very, very patient, Richard, as they are everywhere else. What do you see with the current roster? I know you've had some conversations. So how do you anticipate your first roster looking? Do you look at a lot of turnover? Because I know historically there's not a lot of turnover on your rosters.
Yeah, I think we would be silly to not think about the current climate in the world right now. With COVID, these guys have been through a lot. It's playing in different states, not being able to play at home. I mean, we've asked a lot of those basketball players and a lot of everybody in sports. So it's very important that I get to know these guys on a personal level and making sure that, we want to make you better. First and foremost, we want to make you better on the court, off the court. But then just understanding the climate of college basketball, who knows what the transfer rule becomes or the one-time transfer deal. The transfer portal will be the highest it's ever been. I started 4 transfers last year. I'm not opposed to transfers. Now, do I want 13 of them? No. I mean, I want to build some continuity and making sure that people are coming in here and playing for the name on the front of the jersey. But I got to do my best to evaluate that roster, evaluate the guys in the locker room, see what they're all about, see if they're in alignment with what we're thinking of, and also see if we can add some quality pieces in the spring. But it's very unique times. I was trying to explain to my wife about it. Well, normally I'd be on a plane and we'd be going recruiting and so on. Like, you have to do a lot of Zooms. But that doesn't mean you can't get some great players. I mean, I got some terrific players in the spring last year, and I know we'll do the same this year.
Richard, congratulations. Looking forward to meeting you in person and getting to know you. This is a pretty special place, and you're going to enjoy it, and best to you and your family. Safe travels as you get down here, and again, congratulations on this opportunity, and thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to meeting you.
We'll talk to you soon. Be well and safe travels. Richard Pitino, the head basketball coach at UNM. Respond to that when we get back. There's a lot in there. It's the opening drive of ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Discover matches all the cash back you've earned.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots. He scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. Was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos. Get it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. and then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Strip. Daniel stripped him. Comes Highland the other way. Quinn up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline!
Maybe it was your first listen to Richard Pitino and who he is. I think you're going to like him, and I hope most of you give him a chance. I think the majority of the emails I'm getting, and I'll read them to you, I've been very supportive of it. Basketball guy, grew up in a basketball family in a basketball town, and this place still resonates. And a lot of the things that Steve said when he got here are somewhat paraphrased in that, as far as I always want to go to a basketball crazy place, and you can win here, and I think that's right. And so. As far as recruiting, next year's roster is, I think, JJ, who knows what next year's roster looks like. I think you sit down with these guys, how many of them still want to be here, and how many of them does he want here? And might you see an overhaul? Yeah, you might, man. You very well may. But I don't think you'll see it every year.
No, and that's why whatever happens next year, if they win, they have some success, it's absolute gravy. Because when I was going back and looking at a lot of these coaches, I don't necessarily put a whole lot on their first year somewhere, because it's just the unknowns, the uncertainty. What are they going into? What is the turnover looking like? So when I was looking specifically at Richard and his record at Minnesota, you have the overall record, but a lot of the things I did started with year 2. So you get that first year there, and you start to get some of your guys into the program, you see what kind of talent you're able to bring in, and that's the same thing that's going to happen with Lobo basketball next season, because there is a chance that this team is not good just once again, just based on available talent for the season.
Yeah, I think that's right. Anything else just pop out to you as far as what he had to say in regards? Because obviously it feels like he wants to be here, and I'm not going to tell you he wanted to leave Minnesota for here, because I think he honestly loved Minnesota too, and obviously the fans there enjoyed him, but it does this doesn't feel like a consolation prize to me. A guy who just got run out of the Big Ten or something that landed here. That's not what it feels like to me at all. It feels like a guy who realized he had a good opportunity, owns up to what happened there, and realizes, damn, this is a spot that I want to be.
Yeah, there's 8 years is a long time to be out of place.
That's right.
And it just didn't quite hit the levels that you'd want at an institution like that. But still, I think it's there's a lot of stuff that he learned throughout that time that he can translate to being successful at the University of New Mexico. And you listen to him talk about his career path, the things that are important to him on and off the court, and I think that will definitely resonate with Lobo fan and basketball fans around this state. And it's just him, the person too, because every interview that he does, he's going to be asked about his dad. Mm-hmm. It's inevitable.
I don't want to ask him about his dad anymore. Like, I wanted to do that once and get that out of the way.
And that's why, my question was, how was that for you? Because I'm sure, and then he mentioned it. He's like, I fought that. When he was younger, he fought that. And I can absolutely understand that, because I think we've probably all been in a situation where we've pushed back against something. We're like, I'm tired of this. I get it. But it's learning to embrace, hey, that's an important part. That's my dad. It also allowed me to get in here. But this is who I am, what I've learned about the game. And I think that is huge, too, in his evolution as a coach to get to this point.
I think we've all done that with whoever a mentor has been, right? And whether it's your dad or it's, in my case, dude, when I got to Channel 7, Terry McDermott was a legend. Terry had been in this market for 17-plus years. He played for the Dukes and the Dodgers and was one of the nicest, most affable guys ever. I love Terry McDermott, still do. But I worked with him for 6 months, and then he got out. And I'm replacing this guy who's a legend on the #1 station, one of the top-rated affiliates. And I went through that, and I don't know if you've ever gone through that. You just want to step out of a shadow and say, hey, I'm here. This is who I am. I'm me, and it takes a while. Now, it's not like Richard Pitino, stepping out of his dad's shadow. Obviously, it's a lot bigger, but on a smaller scale, I can relate to it a little bit, and I think we all can.
Oh, absolutely. I know I can relate to that in a big way, but you learn to embrace those people around you and what it does to create who you are and the opportunities in your life. And it definitely sounds like he did that. He went through probably some of those times where he's like, I'm me. Like, this is me. This isn't my dad. This is me. But then you go through all those learning experiences. Sounds like Billy Donovan obviously was a huge influence on who he was, and then get you to this point now.
So I may be paraphrasing, but and I think I am, but one of the things that stood out the most, where he says, I'm humble, but I'm very self-assured. I think he said self-assured. And I'm humble, but I'm confident. And I think that's the exact line you want. I think we all strive for that. I want to remain humble, but I'm confident in who I am and how I do things. I still learn. I'm not perfect. I'm not a finished product. I'm humble, but I'm self-assured. And I think that's everything we all strive to be. Let's maintain humility, but be confident in who we are and that we're doing things the right way. It's a short segment so we can get somewhat back on track. I want to hear from you at 505-246-0610 or 888-922-0610. Emails Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. You trusted your home and business security to a local company. They had an armed response. They were local. They sold out. Now you've been selected, and your home and your business security is on the brink of being bought out by a national corporate giant. Turn to IPS, International Protective Service. I did years ago. IPS is not for sale. They're invested here in this community. They care about your home and your business security like it's their own. Let the highly trained armed guards with 24-hour patrols of IPS protect what is yours. Don't wait until it's too late. I call IPS if I go out of town. They do surveillance of my home every single day. They get out, do exterior checks, pick up the mail, move the garbage cans to the curb and back. Just my home's got a lived-in look when I'm gone, and they're here every day. This is something that you want to do. You should do it. 505-897-2420 is the number. 505-897-2420, or visit them online at ipsglobal.com.
Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Columbus!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
No, right through the wickets. Did that go? Yes, it did.
Tough serve. Here we go. That's a great serve, ace by Vance will kill, and then an ace for the 5'9" 8th grader. Vance, another ace. So back-to-back aces by the 8th grader. Another third successive ace got. Yarno back to pass, looking left, looks to his right, throws, caught, touchdown. Touchdown, Western New Mexico.
The run may be coming here. One we've won. Only the keeper to beat, and she does. Rio Rancho's on.
Ferreira, and one run's going to come around to score. Here comes another run, and the Cowboys play 2 more.
Delivers. That one's driven to right field over the head of the right fielder. That one's out of the park, a home run. And that's directly into the wind. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but she got around on it. She had hit one like that earlier in the game, but it was foul. Didn't go out, but that one carried and went out of the park.
All right, there is NFL stuff, and we'll get into your boy Andy Dalton, the new quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and Trent Williams signing that big deal, and Emmanuel Sanders and all that. Lobo basketball first and foremost, and that's how it is. That's how Richard Pitino likes it, and I know that's how a lot of you like it. I hope you enjoyed it. Mike, if you have a chance and cut it up, maybe we can run some of that again coming up at 9:30 if we need to, or if we want to, if people didn't hear it, but or some of the hits. But you got to hear from Richard Pitino this morning. I just want your thoughts. What'd you think? Does he sound like you expected him to sound? Is that you can hear about a guy, but then you hear from a guy, and you get a different feel. I'm going to tell you there were a lot of things in there. Walking down the pit ramp, and I've never done it as a coach, JJ, but I remember the first time I walked down the pit ramp as a journalist. When I was working for Channel 7, and that pit was full. There's some things in your life you don't forget. And the first time you walk down that pit ramp into that building, and again, it's different than walking in the doors, and that's pretty special too. But when you walk down that pit ramp the first time, and I'm going to tell you, when I was at Channel 7 and did it every night, it impacted me every night. It's like, damn, this is the coolest thing about working this market. That place was always so real to me, and I think he'll realize that when he does it. I don't know about you. I saw Alden shaking his head. There's something about that now.
It is, and I love it. And that's the perk of going in the back entrance with your media pass is you get to walk down that ramp and absolutely love it. You're walking down 15 minutes before game time, so the pit's starting to fill up. You're starting to get that energy going down, and then you see the opposing team right at the ramp when they go down before the Lobos come out. It is definitely a perk that I absolutely do enjoy. It's always fun coming out and emerging into that arena.
Yeah, something else, isn't it? This is from Dean. He says, good morning. I feel Mr. Nunez hit a home run with this hire. I've been listening to Lobo games for a long time, 80% of the games on the AM radio. I've never been to a Lobo game. However, I have played in the pit. I won a state championship in that building, sat in the Lobo locker room, but I'm pumped and love this hire. I'm ready to finally go to some games. Great job, Eddie. Go Lobos. That's from Dean. That's insane, right?
Let's get Dean to the pit. What's going on here?
No kidding. But Dean's walked down that ramp now, right? So Dean kind of gets
He
what
has
we're
a
just
different
talking about.
experience than everyone else.
Isn't that the truth?
Wearing a jersey walking down that ramp.
Yeah. No, Dean, that's awesome. And JJ's not wrong. Now, let's get you to the pit and get out to some games. I guess the circles around now to conversation, and I'll ask this question, and I'm curious where you are. I'm gonna kind of hit some of those fans who are on the fence, right? You've been the Jeffreys, the people who are, this hire is important to me. I've been going to games for years and I stopped going, or I'm not sure I'm going to go anymore, or obviously there's been dwindling attendance. I get that. So does this get you more interested, or is it wait and see? They've got to win. I'm just going to tell you they're probably not going to win a championship next year. It's pretty rare to go from 11th to 1st, okay? It's not unprecedented, but give them a minute. So, here's where I'm asking you as a Lobo fan. Are you in? Like, does this hire, does it get you back in? Okay? Does it show you that commitment's there? And B, are you willing to be patient to the point where you give this man a fair chance? Now, you decide what fair is. Is it a year? Is it 3 years? Is it 2 years? Is it 6 years? Whatever it is. Are you willing to give him a minute to get this thing where you want it to be? Are those two fair questions?
Those are good questions.
All right. And I'm interested to see where the majority of Lobo fan is with this. The more I think people think it through, and I've got a few. I think Tim Miles should have been the guy, but I spoke with somebody up at ESPN yesterday. He said I think, and I shared that with you, with whom I work. I think Miles was your guy. I said I think I'm on this one. I think this is. Patino was a better selection over Miles. Well, Miles has won in the Mountain West. What did he win? I mean, with all due respect, and Tim Miles would not have been a bad choice. Okay, it wouldn't have been a wow choice. It wouldn't have gone over boom. But did he win? He had a good year at Colorado State and parlayed it, and good for him, man.
Yeah, that's part of
He's not
part
a
of the
bad
business.
coach.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too have come around on that. Understanding that you're not hiring coaches for 15 to 20 years. If you have success, it's about maintaining that overall through coaches, and that is the challenge. Because if Rich Pitino does a fantastic job in the next 4 to 5 years, and he gets an opportunity to go to another big job, guess what? He'll probably take it. But then that's where you have to pick up where he left off, and that is the business of not just collegiate athletics, but sports.
Jeffrey, good morning. I sent out the bat signal. Look what we got. Hello, Jeffrey.
Batman, same bat time, same bat channel. Yeah, I want to bridle my enthusiasm, but I am encouraged. I'm quite intrigued, and there's 3 reasons, I think. One, he's the product of a pedigree and his dad, and I think you can use that cachet, that momentum to recruit. Because think about it, if he needs to talk to somebody, he can go through his dad and talk to anybody in this country, and that helps with the recruiting. And there's not.
Hey, Jeffrey, I'm going to cut you off. I want you to finish. I want you to finish, but I want you to finish that thought. But I think he can do that on his own now. And I think what he was saying is, I used to have to do that, but now he's been doing it in this business. And while he's got his dad's name, it's his name. And I think he's got the reputation, the credentials to do it on his own. But continue, please.
No, but I think it brings another layer of cachet the old school cachet. He can get his dad to call Magic Johnson to call somebody. That's what I mean. So you've got 2 layers of what I call je ne sais quoi and cachet at a national level. And I think that's extraordinarily important to do the most important thing a coach can do, and that's recruit, and recruit at a high level. Does any local coach who's my friend can coach X's and O's? He can get people to assist him with that. Number 2, I always appreciate people who have a brash, bold, unapologetic, decisive personality. And I knew New Mexico gets kind of shunned from that kind of boldness, but I like it. And I think that's what we need. That's what leadership is all about. And I tend to be that way myself, so maybe I'm resonating with that kind of persona. But I love brash, bold, decisive people who are unapologetic when they make these kinds of decisions. And third and last, and I think this is most important, he has been exposed to winning at the highest level. I'm not talking about Mountain West championships. I'm not talking about NIT. He's won directly sitting on a bench, a national championship through his father or whatever. That means I believe his expectations, his standards of winning are even different perhaps than ours, because he's seen winning at the highest level and been directly associated with that for an entire generation. And I think that can only help raise the standards of even fans like me who've been going to games for 40 years. Again, I have to bridle my enthusiasm. We'll see what happens after 3 years. But for those 3 reasons, but especially being exposed to winning at the highest level, I think can only ameliorate and raise our standards of expectation here.
Good stuff. No, it's really good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. And so there's an answer. Send out the bat signal, and you got it. Yeah. Jeffrey's in. He's behind the hire for tenable reasons. And he has won. He's been on benches. He's been there. It's up to him now to do it. But I think you've got some excitement. You got reason for excitement. More conversation coming up. We got another hour. Your response to what you heard from Richard Pitino here on the opening drive.
Let me tell you another thing that I'm excited about, and it's a consistent battle, but this has me focused on taking those steps. That is F45 training. It's functional training in 45 minutes. We're talking a mix of circuit training and high-intensity workout in a class atmosphere, and I am really enjoying the classes. There's certified trainers there to help you throughout the process. This is for all fitness levels. You hear about cross-training, some of the crazy stuff. No, this is functional workouts that are going to challenge you, and you can do it if you're going for the first time, or if you're someone that is in good shape, you can use it to challenge yourself to get to another level. You can check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Sign up for your 7-day free trial so you can get a sense of what F45 is all about. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access, Paseo I-25, from wherever you're coming from in the city. And they clean the gym before and after the classes. You have wipes with you, wipe down your equipment real quick in between sets. So you're not worried about that. You're just able to focus on your workout in a great atmosphere. That is why you have to look at the class schedule, book your classes so they can manage the class size so it's comfortable, and you will be all in on getting one of the best workouts of your life. They have classes 7 days a week, so it's really good if you're busy during the week. A lot of the times you can catch up on the weekend. I've been a big fan of the Saturday and Sunday morning classes. I'm enjoying it, and you will too. F45training.com, or download the F45 app to see what it is all about. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
You could continuously cough for
No, right through the wickets. Did that go? Yes, it did.
Tough serve. Here we go.
That's a great serve, ace by Vance. So a kill and then an ace for the 5'9" 8th grader. Vance, another ace. So back-to-back aces by the 8th grader. Another third successive ace. Got Yarno back to pass, looking left, looks to his right, throws, caught, touchdown. Touchdown, Western New Mexico.
Another run maybe coming here. One we've won. Only the keeper to beat, and she does. Rio Rancho's on.
Ferreira, and one run's going to come around to score. Here comes another run, and the Cowboys plate two more.
Delivers. That one's driven to right field over the head of the right fielder. That one's out of the park, a home run. And that's directly into the wind. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but she got around on it. She had hit one like that earlier in the game, but it was foul. Didn't go out, but that one carried and went out of the park.
Man in motion in front of Sordin. He'll get it on a power sweep. On the first play of the game, and he might be off to the races. Nobody in front, and we're going to have an opening touchdown for the Buffaloes.
That's driven deep to left. That ball is history. A three-run bomb for Mr. Galen Young, and the Cowboys lead it 3-0.
Midfield by Molina. Now to Martin. Still Martin. They've given her a lot of space, and she buries another upper V. They gave her way too much room, and she put it away. Jet sweep touchdown for Michael Pardonita. This one will take a beautiful Sunday hop for Bailey. He's looking for some space to develop, looking for some blockers. He's going to make a man miss. That's video game stuff right there. To the sideline, to the house, touchdown, Merrill.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
They'll be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window scores it as foul.
Brought here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finished.
What a... Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-in hammer.
The stuff of the game of the pit. JJ, it's one of the most underrated pit games ever. It was an Elite Eight game in the Albuquerque Regional. Richard Pitino was talking about, and yeah, West Virginia had Louisville by 20. They were pumping them. It was a game to go to the Final Four. It was a game that got Rick Pitino his third team to the Final Four with Louisville, and it was one of those days in the pit. But they were down by 20. They were down 40-27 at halftime. Louisville outscored West Virginia 50-37 in the second half, and then overtime, and won 93-85. Richard Pitino was on the staff. I think, and I'm trying to find it, but I think Reggie Theus was on that staff as well. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. Hope you enjoyed listening to Richard Pitino. Let's go to the phones at 505-246-0610. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Rudy.
Good morning. So I wanted to pick up where Jeffrey left off. What this hire represents is a couple of things. For Richard, it's a change, and change is always good under these circumstances. Look, evaluating Minnesota, they basically have been forever and also ran in the Big Ten. When
That's
was
right.
their last Big Ten championship? You know?
Well, I think it was with Clem Haskins, if I'm not mistaken, but that got vacated. So I think it goes back, and you tell me if I'm wrong, was it 82 with Brian Dutcher's dad?
Probably. And so it's always been a second-tier Big Ten program, and he did his best, and there were times where they rose up. New Mexico's not. UNM is a top 3 Mountain West program, WAC, whatever you want to call it, wherever they've been. Nobody has the Pit. Nobody's ever going to have the Pit. The Pit has that mystique, and so you get a name to go with it. I mean, Pitino is really a basketball royalty name, right?
Of course.
So you say Pitino, if people think it's his dad, that doesn't bother me. I think he has carved out his own niche, and I think coming here like Alfred did is going to be really good. It's going to be good for New Mexico. It's going to be good for Richard. I'm so bummed because they threw together a meet and greet tomorrow night, and once you know it, I finally get to go out of town, right? A whole year spent in lockdown, finally going out of town to Scottsdale for a friend of mine's party, and they're having the reception Thursday night. So, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think I can back going to Scottsdale, so I'm going to have to meet Coach Pitino another time. But I really like the hire. I think it's a fresh start for him, and I think he can recruit here. Meanwhile, you know, you see Otzelberger, he's out of UNLV, right?
Mm-hmm. He's going to Iowa State.
That's where I think he wants to go. If we can make this the kind of job that it should be and could be, that's 8 years of Coach Pitino winning at a high level, and I think he will. I think he knows the mistakes he made, and you don't have to carry those with you at a new place. So I'm pretty excited about the hire, and I think it goes hand in hand with what hiring Danny Gonzalez. Danny has a much tougher job because he's got to build up the profile of a program that's been down most of the time and not up. Richard just has to take this and polish it up and get a couple of players, and I think you can be pretty good next year, and I think the year after you'll be competing for a championship.
That's good. Thanks, Rudy. Safe travels to Arizona. Thanks for the call.
Thanks.
Michael, you're up next on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I disagree with Rudy C. I think the Mr. Pitino is going to have it's going to be a tougher job. It's just I was looking at Coach Pitino's history. I'm not quite that impressed. I'm trying to look at this realistically. I'm trying not to put too much emotion into it. I mean, looking at he's from Boston, way from Far East, from Boston. I mean, no record of him ever playing the game himself. And he's got this new basketball mentality. No talk about fundamentals. It's just. I mean, it's the fans. It's the fans that change as well. I mean, I think the fans need a whole revival.
So what is that? So who would you been your guy, Michael? Because I asked you what familiarity with here and what basketball background did Bob King, Dave Bliss, Steve Alford have before they got here? Norm Ellenberger.
Well, I didn't really collect my thoughts this morning.
No, that's all right. I mean, I understand the initial thought process on
Kenny
it.
Thomas was an intriguing possibility.
Oh, okay.
He's a hometown guy. He hasn't had a head coaching job, but that's okay. Danny Gonzalez didn't have one. I feel excited for Danny Gonzalez. I like the can-do attitude of of people.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
But we have to face the problems. We have to overcome these problems. We have to face reality. We can't overhype things. Let's do it. I like.
All right, Michael. We're at the top of the hour. I got to go.
Cooper's
No, thanks. I appreciate it. We got to go. There's a lot there, and I know you got something to say.
And we got to take this break.
It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Give me someone I know.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Puts it up. Rebound, Cowboys. Right side, David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Luscious. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes it.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop to the.
Play with the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a. Hill, little step, high window, and
Got the second.
To the middle.
Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. To shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
oh my gosh.
Here's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Ford driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good.
Pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. Here comes Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. Let's see if Melfi can cash it in.
got some protection. Deep ball, Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out. Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds. Touchdown, Volcanovis.
That replay,
I got you.
Measurement.
Smith's going to fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
JJ, you go first, because I saw you bristling during the call. And you said to me during, and you and I feel the same way, I'm just so over and I think I know where you're going with it.
You got to separate. Tell me why Kenny Thomas would be a good basketball coach. Kenny Thomas, the player, Kenny Thomas, the Lobo, is not the same thing as Kenny Thomas, the basketball coach. He's been coaching AAU basketball. Yeah, an opportunity arises. Oh, that'd be great to be a Division I head coach. But what else are you bringing to the table?
JT on the line.
With that, Michael Cooper, I'm not going to downplay anything he's done. A great Lobo, fantastic NBA players. He's had some success too, but you look at he didn't do anything when he was coaching USC women's basketball. It's entirely different when you're handed a developmental league roster, a WNBA roster that you don't have to put together. So it's separating your love for a player versus the reality of what a coach needs to be, and you need to understand the area. But you don't have to be from somewhere to be successful. And I think Richard Pitino did lay that out this morning, understanding, all right, you got to hit on in-state products if they arise, but it's Texas, it's California, it's Colorado, it's Arizona, it's using your regional recruiting base well. And if you look at the last decade, when you sprinkle in international prospects, which you always have to have an eye on, Lobos have done a fantastic job with players from the state of Texas and California. It's just there's got to be more than, hey, I grew up loving Michael Cooper and Kenny Thomas, so they would be great coaches. Why?
All right, so I'm going to go a little different on you because I think Michael Cooper might have worked. I'm not telling you I would have hired him. I think he might have worked. I'm not telling you Kenny couldn't have worked. I think it would have been very hard to hire a guy with no coaching experience, and that's Kenny. AAU coaching experience is very different. Well, he was going to bring Larry Brown. Yeah, but he's still the guy. You're hiring a head coach. I mean, it's a head coaching hire. I'm not hiring an assistant coach. So I'm going to go a different place because maybe they would have worked. Maybe they wouldn't. We're not going to know, at least not this time around. What I'm over is you've got to be from here. How can a guy from there come in here? You've got to be one of us. And I tell you all the time that there's a lot of factors that are going to go into this recipe. Record, knowledge, reputation, recruiting, all of these things, right? Integrity. And numbers don't lie, but they don't tell the whole story, nor does where you're from and where you grew up. And so I asked him, what was Bob King's relationship to here before he came here from Indiana? What was Norm Ellenberger's? What was Dave Bliss's? What was Steve Halford's? And yeah, Danny Gonzalez is from here, and I think that's going to work. And then a big factor is he loves his place. And so who was that guy? Danny Gonzalez was a defensive coordinator in the Pac-12 and one of the hottest young coaches in America, having coached with Herm Edwards and Rocky Long and been in the business for 20 years. He came up as a coach. He was ready, groomed for this position. So it is different. I get that this place is unique, and I've been here 25 years. So at some point, maybe I'm from here. But I wasn't from here at first either, and I'd like to believe that I belong here now. JJ, you came from somewhere, right? I mean, we all – you don't have to be a guy that you grew up watching to make it work. You can be. I'm not telling you it can't work. I'm not telling you Michael Cooper or Kenny Thomas would not have worked.
No.
But
I just don't think it's as set in stone as they were Lobos, so that's the way it should have been. Like it all came together perfectly for Danny Gonzalez. And Eddie
And
was
that's great.
able to, but it wasn't going to be the same thing. Oh, you had to be an alumni at this point in time to get it done.
And it worked for Rocky Long, right?
Absolutely.
He was an alum, and he came home, and it can work. There's not one recipe that works. Well, it didn't work with Paul Weir. Well, Richie McKay had ties here. Richie McKay's dad played here, and he knew here, and he okay. How'd that work for you? There's no exact science on this thing, and I would ask you to give this guy a chance. Mike, who'd you tell me was on the line? We got a better system. JT, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, JT.
How's it going, my friends?
What's happening, man?
I'm a very, very happy Lobo fan today, and I know, Jeff, I'm driving out here, and so if you lose me, you might lose me. But I'm going to tell you, I know you don't like us bashing on other sports animals, but Michael, I'm sure, is a nice guy, but that was a terrible, terrible call. You still got me?
Yeah, still got you.
Okay, that was a terrible call. Okay, I wanted Michael Cooper. Okay, you know me. I go way back.
Yep.
But I realized that wasn't going to happen. I don't care. What does Boston have to do with the rice in China? I don't understand fans here in Albuquerque, okay? Yeah, there's no guarantees. I mean, who knows what? I don't know. But what I do know is when you say the word Patino, that resonates a little bit more than Chavez, right? Or Jaramillo, my name, right?
Well, in this context, it does. In the basketball context, it does.
I mean, he stayed 8 years. Who stays 8 years anywhere? I mean, Minnesota's not going to be a top program anytime soon in basketball, but guess what? He did a lot of great things there, okay? The names that came after Michael Cooper for me didn't do nothing for me. That was the only name that did something for me. So I don't care if he's from Mars, from Pecos, New Mexico, from wherever the hell. I don't care. Just can the man coach, okay?
We'll find out.
Can the man coach? Give him a chance. I mean, I'm sick of these people saying, oh, he's got to be from here. For what? Why?
Yep.
Let's just keep the positivity. We're coming in all sports. New Mexico's coming in all sports. It's a great day. Let's get our tickets, and let's get everybody else to get our tickets, and let's get ready to go. All right? I got to go.
Later. All right, let me. It's such a good call. So I don't want to get the emails. You hypocrite. You said this about Danny. Let me be very clear. Okay, there is something to be said about being from here or having roots here. This place is different, and it's like anywhere else. That's why T.J. Otzelberger was hired instantly to go back to Iowa State. Right? He's from there. There's something about that, but it is not the exclusive qualification to make you the right candidate to be coach, right? It's a element, and in some cases, a major element. All right? So when Danny got hired, it was the right guy at the right time. He was from here, wanted to be here, is young, up and coming, one of the hottest coordinators in America. Why do you think Danny Gonzalez got offered the defensive coordinator job this last offseason at Texas and at Oregon? And those schools were willing to pay out buy his buyout and pay him $2 million a year, right? He was he worked his way up the ladder. It's different. Now you can have the conversation with me about Michael Cooper. I'll listen to it. He's coached and he's been successful. He doesn't have his degree, which, as he said here, if that disqualifies him from the job, that's on him. The Kenny thing, like, I love Kenny Thomas. I've known Kenny for 25 years. I really like Kenny. Was he qualified? Well, he was going to bring Larry Brown. Yeah, but you're hiring a head coach. Kenny'd be coaching AAU. So it's a qualification. It can be more important at times and in places than others, but it cannot be the sole exclusive piece to the puzzle.
I agree with that. It was the circumstances coming together at the perfect time for Danny Gonzalez with his track record, the alumni, the timing of it all to come back. But that doesn't always happen with the hires. And I'm listening. Like this, we could be 3-4 years talking completely like, you know what, this didn't work, and we'll be doing it again. But that's the 50-50 of hiring coaches in collegiate athletics. There's not one exact formula. And in this, I'm with you. Kenny Thomas, Michael Cooper, if they want an opportunity, yeah, they should be a huge part of Lobo basketball. They should be. Like, what was it 2 years ago, Kenny Thomas, when they were doing that, trying to bring guys back, have a day to recognize them. Absolutely, that matters. It's important. the fans, need that stuff. But I'm also, not willing to just say, oh, because you played here, you're immediately going to come in and be a good coach when there's so many more factors involved. And the one thing with Michael Cooper, and I appreciate him, he joined us a couple weeks ago, spent that time, acknowledged it, but I still ask why. If you know that's out there, why do you not have your degree?
Yeah, that's
like if it's, and you keep saying, well, that's on me. Okay, well, if you want to be a Division I coach, you want this opportunity, why is that still a problem?
Yeah, and it wasn't an issue at USC. And you know what's really one of the most uncomfortable things is when you have to part ways with a head coach who's an alum. Remember how uncomfortable it was when Rocky left? When USC had to fire Pat Hayden, an alum, as their athletic director, or Lynn Swan, another famous alum, right? When it doesn't work, set a guy up to succeed and give him a chance. And look, again, this is not an exact science, and I'm not telling you either one of those guys wouldn't have worked. Maybe they would. But it cannot be the only piece of the puzzle. And look, when it works, and it's wonderful. A guy goes back and wins at his alma mater. There's something really, 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 really special about that. But it can't be the only thing. 505-246-0610. Dr. Coleman, Stephen Coleman, specializes in treating astigmatism with LASIK. Been doing this since 1998. He is the best in the industry. He is recognized around the country. People come from all over the map to get their LASIK done at Coleman Vision because they know that Dr. Coleman is the best that there is. He is in on developing the latest technology that originated at Sandia Labs here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I had my LASIK done by Dr. Coleman back in 2003. Dr. Coleman and the people over at Coleman Vision have been like family to me ever since, and they changed my life. I went in; it's comfortable. And look, you might not be a candidate for astigmatism, or for LASIK. I was with my astigmatism, but what they do is unbelievable. You walk, and this is for athletes, for housewives, for attorneys, professionals, whoever it is. Anybody can benefit from this, and you're going to hear testimonies from professional athletes on how it changed their life. It changed my life. I don't have to deal with the contacts and glasses and all that stuff that I was dealing with. I had my surgery at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, anchored the morning news at Channel 13 at 5 o'clock the next morning without lenses. This is legitimate, man. This is beyond legitimate. It changed my life. If you're thinking about LASIK, if you think you are a candidate, if you're done with glasses, if you're done with contacts and you don't want to deal with that mess anymore, call Coleman Vision. Go see Dr. Coleman. It's ColemanVision.com. Take a look at what they've got to offer. And then call 505-821-8880, 521-8880. Make an appointment and see if you're a candidate. Seeing is believing, and I sure as heck believe.
And you don't have to be exhilarated.
The Herd with...
No, right through the wickets. Did that go? Yes, it did.
Tough serve. Here we go.
That's a great serve ace by Vance. So a kill and then an ace for the 5'9" 8th grader. Vance, another ace. So back-to-back aces by the 8th grader. Another third successive ace. Yarno back to pass, looking left, looks to his right, throws, caught, touchdown. Touchdown, Western New Mexico.
The run may be coming here. 1v1. Only the keeper to beat, and she does. Rio Rancho's on.
Ferreira, and one run's going to come around to score. Here comes another run, and the Cowboys plate 2 more.
Delivers. That one's driven to right field over the head of the right fielder. That one's out of the park, a home run. And that's directly into the wind. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but she got around on it. She hit one like that earlier in the game, but it was foul. Didn't go out, but that one carried and went out of the park.
Man in motion in front of Sorian. He'll get it on a power sweep. On the first play of the game, and he might be off to the races. Nobody in front, and we're going to have an opening touchdown for the Buffaloes.
That's driven deep to left. That ball is history. A 3-run bomb for Mr. Galen Young, and the Cowboys lead it 3-0.
Midfield by Molina. Now it's Martin. Still Martin. They've given her a lot of space, and she buries another upper V. They gave her way too much room, and she put it away.
Jet sweep touchdown for Michael Pardonita. This one will take a beautiful Sunday hop for Bailey. He's looking for some space to develop, looking for some blockers. He's going to make a man miss. That's video game stuff right there. To the sideline, to the house, touchdown, Merrill.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Boy, I couldn't disagree with Mr. Buck more, says Sid. There, you're back to disagreeing with Sid. Mr. Siembieda, did he say Coop was able to win with a developmental team roster? He was handed and wasn't responsible for putting it together? If it was that easy, why aren't the coaches of the Dukes winning championships every year? No, I think Coop had a hand in putting together that roster, did he?
Okay, like, I'm not trying to discredit Michael Cooper, but tell me how that leads you to being a successful Division I coach.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm with you. I'm not 100% sold. If they would have hired Michael Cooper, then I would have given him the same opportunity that I'm giving Richard Pitino, that I'd give any coach in this situation. I just don't think it's a huge swing and a miss just because they didn't hire, someone with ties to the basketball program and or state of New Mexico.
Carl says second season is going to be key, Jeff. When Weir took over, he had a bunch of guys who had been beaten down by Coach Neal, so they were happy for any scraps that were thrown. They wanted to play. As a result, Weir overachieved that season. I can see the same thing happening this year. Question is, can it be sustained? Once Weir had to stand on his own with his players, he couldn't. I think this is different. We'll see. All right, one line open. Let's go. Sean, good morning. Hello, Sean.
Hey, good morning. I'll never understand the obsession in New Mexico with getting not only like coaches from New Mexico, but players. I mean, when you look at basketball, you have Lou Henson. That's it. That is the bar. I mean, there's going to be nobody like it. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but Lou Henson was an incredibly special person and one of the best college basketball coaches ever, in my opinion. I don't know if that's going to happen again here. I'm not saying it can't, but it's going to be extremely rare where that happens. And then I'm an Aggie fan, so I don't hear that as much from the coaching side, but everybody's also obsessed with players from New Mexico. And I'm not trying to knock players from New Mexico, but if I'm a head coach, do I give a scholarship to a walk-on kid, talent-wise, or do I get a JUCO guy in here who's going to help me win and get me to the tournament? Because you can put a whole team together full of New Mexico kids, but if you're not winning, guess what? Those fans are still going to be pissed off that you're not winning any games.
Totally agree.
So I'll never understand that. Thanks, guys.
Yep. No, there's only so many Johnny from Las Cruces. You know what I mean? Johnny from Las Cruces, Johnny McCann's Cabal. But get the ones you need to get. And I agree with that phone call. Travis, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Travis.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to make a comment because basically Eddie Nunez's two big hires, Danny and now Coach Pitino, he said the same thing what he was looking for in a coach, and he stayed consistent, stayed true with it. Obviously, Danny and Coach Pitino won the interviews with Eddie, and he believed in him, and he felt their enthusiasm for this job. That's why he hired him. There's no, coaching these days is totally different from when Alfred even got here. Social media is allowing you to be able to broadcast and say, this is why New Mexico's special, this is why you should come. But props to Eddie Nunez. He did a great job in hiring both Danny Gonzalez and Coach Pitino. I think he's on point, and he said what he was looking for is developing student athletes, and that is the major goal of a university. So just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there, and I think St. Louis Cardinals, 92 games. Thanks, guys.
Wow. All right. So let me give you something on that. And I'm going to go back to something I said earlier. JJ, if you've ever hired, that's how you're going to hire. Set your parameters, know what it is you're looking for. Try to be consistent. There's a good chance you don't get somebody to check every box. If you do, that's probably your person. And I agree with Travis on that. I think Eddie's been really consistent in his messaging, his actions. We'll see. Now, I mean, look, his legacy is going to be tied to success or lack thereof of Danny Gonzalez and Richard Pitino, right? That's going to be his legacy. Whether, no matter how much, and he knows this. Look, I think, and Richard Pitino said it, and I've said it before. I've told you, I think Eddie's one of the young rising stars in this business. But you can lead through as many pandemics and economic crises as you want, right? But how are athletic directors remembered? And that's how did the football and basketball programs, depending on what school, and usually both, how did they do under your term? How did your hires do? And that's how you're going to remember Eddie. Are you going to remember Eddie for budget cuts and getting you through fiscal issues and pandemics? You're going to remember him for these two hires, right?
Yeah, that's the two biggest things an athletic director can do at any university at this level. Football coach, men's basketball coach. And he has both on his resume now.
And he knows that. And look, I think, to Travis's point, he stayed consistent. But it's look, you can hire the best person in the world, then they got to go do the job. Yep. It's like again, I've hired people. Some have done an unbelievable job, and some I made it didn't work. For whatever reason, whether I didn't put them in a position to succeed, or they weren't right for the position in which they were hired, or whatever. At the time, you think you're doing the right thing, but people got to go perform. Now is it on Eddie anymore? No, he made the hire. Now it's on Richard. Tommy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Tommy.
What's up, Tom the Truth? Back at you guys. I'm curious about something. I know Pitino from back in the day, his dad was kind of a clod, dumbass, did some weird stuff. But has there anything come out about his son doing anything similar, or has he been pretty clean?
He's been pretty clean.
Okay, then leave the guy alone. Let him come in and coach. He's a name. I guarantee you he's going to put butts in the seats, number one, because of his name, and he's going to be able to get recruits because of his name. Guaranteed on that. Give the guy a chance. The guy doesn't have to be from here to coach at the Lobos. Now, I don't even follow them that much, and I heard a guy earlier, I go, dude, why don't you just relax? Do what I do every morning. Get up 8 o'clock in the morning, hit the refrigerator,
8 o'clock.
Think of Mad Dog out, cold pizza, eat it, and just relax a little bit. Let this guy come in and do his thing, and judge a coach after a year or two. I always say give coaches a couple of years to see what they're going to do. But I guarantee, just because of his name alone, last name, he's going to put butts in the seats. People are going to be curious. With COVID, of course, cooperating, and he's going to be able to get recruits. But give it some time. Guy doesn't have to be from here to coach here and be successful. That's just ridiculous.
It's good stuff. Thanks, Tommy. I think that's right. Give him a chance. By the way, cold pizza and Mad Dog in the morning. I got a bunch of cold pizza in here. Good buddy came over yesterday to take a look at some stuff over here. He showed up with, from Il Vicino, 2 pizzas, a calzone, and 3 salads.
Ooh.
Come on over, man. I got grub. How about that?
See you in 20 minutes.
Damn. Yeah, that was nice. I poured him a drink. I think Tommy hits it right. I just give the man a chance. This is where you are. If you're a Lobo fan, now it's time to say, all right, let's embrace your guy and give him a chance until he gives you a reason not to. I mean, how else do you look at it? You can sit here and say, I want a Cooper, I want a Kenny, and that's my guy, and I'm out. Okay. I mean, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I will tell you I don't understand that.
It's fair. And it's what you want. It's conversation. It's a passion around the position. Now that you have a head coach, you get to take a chance to take your seat, get your popcorn out, see how it goes.
All right. You thought you were done with winter weather. Then you drove around last night about, 5, 6 o'clock and started snowing. You woke up like I did with 4 inches of snow in the backyard. It's bad for your vehicle. One of your biggest investments is your vehicle, and that cold air pulls the moisture out of your paint job, and then there's going to be the sand and the salt and the junk on the road that causes your paint to fade or chip, and it's a bad look, and you don't have time to deal with it, and you don't need it. What you do need is on-the-spot automotive detailing. On-the-spot automotive detailing creates the time for you. You're busy. That's fine. You're inside working. And you know what they're doing? They're out in the parking lot or the driveway. They're working as well. They come to you whenever and wherever it is convenient and detail your vehicle. That means inside and outside, they detail your vehicle. The details. The French fries under the seat, the hair ties, the stink, the smell, the stains, the pet hair, all that stuff is gone. And when they're done, after about an hour or more, your vehicle looks, smells, feels like the day you drove it off the lot, like it's brand new. This is one of the best things going. It's on-the-spot automotive detailing. Call them. I don't know where they are. Doesn't matter. They know where I am, and that's really what matters. The number is 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859, or you can visit them at otsdetailing.com.
The field is set.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from YAFL to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Hayes. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Greg Martinez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Hi, I'm Marilena Fernandez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The New Mexico Army National Guard is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Art Sandoval in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From here, right? How do you not hire Louis Lobo to be the coach? He knows this place. He knows the pit crowd better than everyone. I mean, he's the only guy that the pit crowd's always cheered, never booed. Just saying. How is J.R. Giddens' name not up for this, by the way? I mean, he's coaching the women's basketball team in New Mexico, northern New Mexico, right? I'm just since you're throwing Kenny Thomas and Michael Cooper, and I'm just asking.
Well, Jeff, they have a coach now. So we'll put it on the list for next time.
Thank you. Thank you for putting me back on track where I want to be. Thank you. Thank you. John says, well, Jeff, he wouldn't have been my choice, but he's the coach. I'm taking the wait and see what hires and players he can bring in. When Flanagan and Alford came in, you could see improvement right away, and also with Bradbury, and I'm hoping the same with Patino. Before you say who would have been my choice, let me see the list of candidates interested. Okay, fair enough. I think the list of candidates was certainly Tim Miles, Michael Cooper, Kenny Thomas, Cody Toppert. There were more on the list. The Coach Keller down at Stephen F. Austin, Kyle Keller. I mean, there were good candidates. I think, John, that's fair. And look, I'm not going to sit here and promise you he's winning championships. I'm not going to do that any more than I'm going to promise you he won't. I think this is so inexact. And how do you – like, there have been guys who've gone into places – I remember when Rolly Massimino went to Vegas. I'm like, what a great hire. It didn't work, right? There's been places where you say, hey, that's going to work, and it just doesn't. It's hard, man. And the other guys are working too. So, Fred, good morning. How you living? You're on Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Fred. Oh, wait, where'd Micah go to push the button? I wish I could push the buttons now, but I can't. Where'd Micah go? Where the hell is he?
I think he's on the phone with someone else that we're trying to talk
okay.
to.
There he is. Okay.
You can still press the button, Micah.
Okay. I didn't know he was still there. All right, well, let me read you another one. Jackson well, I don't want to read you about snow. John says, former famous Lobos. If some fans are bent on hiring former Lobos who became famous, why not implore UNM to contact them or contract them in some fashion to help recruiting. Surely they would be an asset. Perhaps UNM's already doing that, but I haven't heard of it. By the way, if Michael Cooper's he is a great guy. I met him at UNM when we were classmates in several courses. Look, Michael Cooper's a great guy. Michael Cooper might have done well here. Kenny might have. I think those guys do care about this place. Is it I'm going to be head coach or nothing? I don't know. But how do you reach out and include him? All right, where's Mike? I got Fred. I'm trying to go to Fred. Can you reach over and hit the button and put Fred on the phone? All right, Fred. Good morning.
Hey guys. Hey, I really enjoyed hearing Patino talk, and I knew one thing that he always had a problem with, and he mentioned it kind of on your show, was he had to worry about the hockey team, the basketball team, the football team, I mean the soccer team, and all these things. Here he's just got New Mexico, and I loved the way he talked about how he's going to have to find kids from Texas and Colorado and California, and then he talked about the Mountain West and the top 4 teams there now. It's like he already knows a lot about what he's going to be doing here. And I had a friend of mine call me from Kentucky yesterday. He said he couldn't believe all the phone calls. They have a sports talk show in the morning, and everybody was commenting on Patino's son because they loved Patino when he coached there. They loved his son and stuff, and so we're getting that publicity. And then you look in the front page of the sports, and it's not big or anything, but Rick Pitino not going anywhere. And then it's got about his son coming to New Mexico. These are things that if we weren't getting Pitino, that no one would hear about it. It's really neat. And the one thing special about the pit that no one talks about is that you can't find anywhere else really. It's the closeness of the pit, because you can take row 1, which is the very top of the pit, and that's the same as if you went to a Suns or a Laker game or a Nugget game. You're about halfway up. That goes about 80 to 100 rows. Ours only goes to 40. But you are jammed in there. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think it's really a great find. A guy that's played in the top league in NCAA basketball, the Big Ten, and knowing that you beat Michigan and you beat Iowa and you beat Ohio State, and he's been doing this for quite a few years, with maybe 4 or 5 winning seasons. So I'm just really happy, and I just want to put my 2 bits in for a few minutes and just say I'm a happy guy having Patino coming here.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Fred.
See you,
Fred
guys.
called us at 505-246-0610. Travis, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Travis.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
What's up?
Hey, man. Look, from where we were at last week when, we had a couple of conversations, I am feeling much, much, much better. I will say that I am a little taken aback and surprised by the Patino talk. Like, that is really surprising to me. And I say that understanding that, like, over the past week and a half, I called and talked to you guys a couple of times and was like lambasting Tim Miles, hoping that the Mountain West wasn't trying to get the band back together, and that we weren't going to bring him on as coach. So, I mean, I need to sort of like take a step back and evaluate my own conduct here. But it's a little surprising how many calls we've had this morning, and certainly what I've seen online. I think I saw one Twitter response to the Jeff Grammer story announcing his hire was just meh. First off, it's like not super deep, but it was just it's really surprising, and it seems to me that the people who are frustrated sort of fall into maybe one or two camps, and maybe both camps simultaneously. And the first one seems to be that, well, why are we hiring that guy, right? He got fired. And I don't know how many times it takes for you guys, Jeff, JJ, for you guys to say over and over and over again that because of where New Mexico is as a program now, but even during the good old days, you're not going to hire a Krzyzewski. You are not going to hire a Mike D'Antoni. You're not going to hire, I don't know how many times you guys have to keep saying that until it sort of penetrates and
Never.
people understand it. And the other thing, the other argument that people seem to make, and I don't mean to cut you off, Jeff, is that, well, that guy's not from New Mexico. That argument is the thing that, like, gets me heated and fired up more than any of the other, hiring, coaching arguments. Like, New Mexico is a beautiful, incredible, wonderful place. It really is. And we all love it. We all love living here. It's no wonder that other people who are not also born and raised here would want to come to the state of New Mexico, especially when you're putting it in the basketball context, how great this place is in terms of its fan base, its facilities. There is nothing more important to this community than Lobo basketball. And look, I think Danny Gonzalez is going to do a great job across the street, and I think fans will come back to Lobo football, but that has always played second fiddle to Lobo basketball, and that is attractive for any coach. It's certainly attractive for Pitino, and the idea that we should only hire people from New Mexico, like, there's no one really qualified yet to take on that job. It's just very insular. I don't understand that thinking.
I get that, right. Yeah, Travis, I've got to move because we got to hit this break. But it's a great call, and I'm with you. That it's something that's going to always be there, and I think it's probably there in every community to some respect. Yeah. And I respect it, and I think it's a good attribute. It's a good ingredient, but it cannot be the exclusive one.
Yeah, and just by the way, I was born in Los Alamos, New Mexico, if anyone's wondering. So if that helps,
so you're from here.
Me become more accepted. There we go.
Yeah, glad you're here. All right, we'll get as many more calls as we can in when we get back from this next break.
Well, if you want to come hang out with me, join me at F45 Training. Let me tell you about the gym. It's a mix between high-intensity training, circuit training. You're going to do all kinds of different things. That's what I love about the classes. I am a fan of traditional weight training, but I love the workout you get from these functional, high-intensity training classes. F45 Training has a certified trainer there at every class. It is for all fitness levels, so it might sound overwhelming if you're not a fan of cross-training or haven't done it before, but you're going to be able to go in there and start at your level and then work your way up. But if you're someone that is in shape, it's also a great way to challenge yourself to get to the next level. Check them out at F45Training.com. Download the F45 app to take a look at the class schedule. Sign up for your free 7-day trial so you can get in there and figure out what it's all about. And this is a time to start moving forward. For me, yeah, I'm still battling it. I'm loving going to class, but I still got a long way to go. But it gets me excited. It keeps me focused on trying to limit the amount of M&Ms I consume, but at least also look forward to working out on a daily basis. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast, Paseo I-25, so really good access from wherever you're coming from in the city. They clean before and after classes. They give you wipes, so you wipe down your equipment quickly in between your sets, but it allows you to focus on your workout in a really good, friendly team atmosphere. So check them out, F45Training.com. Download the F45 app to look at the schedule of classes. Book your classes. They are open 7 days a week. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Talk to State Farm agent Greg Shamus today.
Thank you to Greg Shamus for his support of ProView Networks.
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to NewMexicoHighlands.com today.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Plan your adventure at WNMU.edu.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Ashley Duran in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
No, right through the wickets. Did that go? Yes, it did.
Tough serve. Here we go.
That's a great serve, ace by Vance. So a kill and then an ace for the 5'9" 8th grader. Vance, another ace. So back-to-back aces by the 8th grader. Another third successive ace got. Yarno back to pass, looking left, looks to his right, throws, caught, touchdown. Touchdown, Western New Mexico. Another run maybe coming here. One we've won. Oh!
All right, Brutus is happy. He says, regarding Patino, me happy. Brutus, I can't, that's the first in over a year. That's the first relatively positive communication from Brutus in over a year, right?
No doom or despair?
None. Not in this email, no. No, I mean, I'm not telling you that's done, but that's the first one in any of that. So, wow. This is from Bill. He says, if you look at the big picture, when it's all said and done, there's only one winning coach each year, except last year, and 360 losing coaches. Yep. Well, there's one who wins the NIT. I don't know. Does that matter too? Lance, how you feeling about this big hire? Lance is from here, right? So he's allowed to be on the show. I mean, if you're from here, it's okay. What's up, Lance?
Oh, physically, I've been sicker than a dog for weeks. Still am.
Sorry, man. I'm
Hey,
sorry to hear that.
I just didn't think Patino would be interested in here. I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, gosh, I hate to go back and compare, but his dad wanted Iona to get in. Hope it runs into family and stuff. But I had a Vietnam vet friend that calls do you really think, Nunez is listening to all you idiots? It's not a survey. It's not a popularity contest. He's going to hire, who he thinks is best for the program and his job. I started laughing because he's absolutely right. I've heard so much crap go on. Like the caller earlier that took 60 seconds for one sitting to get out, and didn't know which direction, but anyway, I heard a guy yesterday on the sports bar, he hated everybody. He goes back, he talks like this, he's one of those guys. He's on your show one day, and he finally had to somehow get rid of him. And but he hated all the way back. Every coach was terrible that we've ever had in both sports. I'm like, why are you even calling? It's like, so no, this is a great thing. I just figured he would, just be going east or somewhere like that, but he saw the light. He probably came out and visited. It's like, I'm tired of being crapped up in, that city and all that stuff. I'm coming out here, and the pressure's off of me as far as, where the city is. And I'm really proud, and, good luck, Coach. I'm behind you all the way.
Thanks, Lance. You were
in before the buzzer.
He was like out before the. All right. Here's where I am with this. Here's what I've learned. I think the majority of you are on board or willing to be on board with the hire. There's a few of you, there's a few of you, and I think it's very few, who are out, very few, and there's some who are skeptical. But from and this is a pretty good sample size over the last 2 days. And we had 18 calls and a 20-minute conversation with Richard Pitino today, or whatever the number of calls is. I think the majority of you are willing to give it a chance. Now, what that means, I think, is going to be different for all of you. What does giving him a chance mean? Does he have to win next year? At what level does he have to win? Look, somebody said we want to see improvement. I would be willing to bet this month's mortgage that you will see improvement next year, and this team will be better than 11th in this league.
That's not crazy, because you're not talking about winning the league, because you can't go anywhere else but up.
1 minute. Yeah, so that's where I am. All right, a thank you to Richard Pitino, the new Lobo men's basketball coach, for being with us today. JJ, where could people hear that if they missed it or want to hear it again?
Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/theodintheam. Hit up my Twitter account, _JJBuck. Interview will be posted here very shortly.
All right, or you can watch the show on Channel 26 on Comcast today at 3, courtesy of ProView Networks. They do that every single day. Our show is on at 3 o'clock. Alden, great work on the TV side. Micah, great work. I got to get used to maybe not saying that soon. On the radio side, Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd after that. More local talk with Trulio and Carlisle this afternoon at 4. And then we're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio at 7 a.m. JJ, great work this week.
Have a day,
enjoy the day. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Only the keeper to beat, and she does. Rio Rancho's on. Ferreira, and one run's going to come around to score. Here comes another run, and the Cowboys play 2 more.
Delivers. That one's driven to right field over the head of the right fielder. That one's out of the park, a home run. And that's directly into the wind. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but she got around on it. She had hit one like that earlier in the game, but it was foul. Didn't go out, but that one carried and went out of the park.
Man in motion in front of Sorian. He'll get it on a power sweep. On the first play of the game, and he might be off to the races. Nobody in front, and we're going to have an opening touchdown for the Buffaloes. That's driven deep to left. That ball is history. A 3-run bomb for
Mr. Galen Young, and the Cowboys lead it 3-0.
Midfield by Molina. Now to Martin. Still Martin. They've given her a lot of space, and she buries another upper V. They gave her way too much room, and she put it away. Jet sweep touchdown for Michael Pardonita. This one will take a beautiful Sunday hop for Bailey. He's looking for some space to develop, looking for some blockers. He's going to make a man miss. That's video game stuff right there. To the sideline, to the house, touchdown, Merrill.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green.